kind of every evening, and 3
Yes.
nights in a row, there was these people called life coaches, and I was like, what the hell is a life coach? And then I was listening to this thinking, hey, but that's my idea. That's what I
Yes.
wanted to become. Like, how dare they? You know, and they actually stole my idea and actually turned it into something. So I went home and I Googled it and literally signed on to the first course that came up on Google. It really spoke to me and enrolled for the course. And the very first day, the first question they ask you is, what do you want to achieve on this weekend?
Yes.
And my answer to that was, I want to know whether I will sell my business to become a coach.
Yes.
And I think it was on the second morning or the third morning where I literally said, I've answered that question and that's what I'm going to do.
Brilliant. So obviously a clear direction in which one you wanted to go in. And
Yeah.
so you know, why the need for business coaches? And could you relate this to perhaps your own business experience?
I think the big need for it is that we don't, when we're sitting in a problem or when we're sitting in a place where we've got to make a decision, we just don't see all the options available to us. And
Yes.
one of the great things about a business coach is they are they can play a whole lot of scenarios to you. They can open up a whole lot of options that you may not have been seeing. I've just finished a coaching session with a young guy that works for a corporate at the moment, and he feels that this year he's ready to step up, and he wants to approach them and ask them about a promotion and about a salary increase. But he's extremely nervous about this, knowing of the company. And so we started speaking about it, we worked through it, we played through a couple of scenarios, and we came up with a really nice approach. And he's left here almost, I can tell, he almost wants to get back in his car, drive to head office and
Yes.
ask them for a promotion. So a lot of his fear has gone away, a lot of his anxiety around it has gone away, and he's got a whole new approach to it than what he had when he came in.
I see. So your whole aim is to try and just get people to see another side of the situation.
Yeah, I think it's a paradigm shift. You basically reframe things for people, help them see it differently,
Right.
and then also offer them tools that they can use, communication tools, processes that they can use in order to get where they want. And the biggest benefit, I think, to companies sending their employees and to people paying for themselves to come is that you get from where you are to where you want to go a lot quicker.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the main benefit. Is it's almost shortcuts the process that could have taken you much longer.
Yes. So whilst we're talking about the processes and such, what does Performance Booster actually do? Well, if I had to come to you and say, listen, I'm struggling at work, I don't know why, I just feel as though I'm not performing to my utmost, what would be the process that you would do and sit with me to actually help me?
Okay. So there are 2 parts to Performance Booster. The first part is my one-on-one coaching that I do with individuals. And the second part is a course that's actually called the Performance Booster Program, which is a course that people on or people enroll in, and it's a 3-day course that really fast forwards you to strategizing about your life, setting very clear goals, creating a vision, and giving you a whole plan and a lot of tools to make all of that happen. The other side, which is the one-on-one coaching, is you come to me. The very first session is all about finding out what it is that you want to achieve through your coaching. And it's almost the most difficult question because people know that they need a coach. People are very woolly about their lives.
Yes.
They seldom have great clarity on their own lives and what it is that they're wanting. So we first have to establish that. And once we've established that, then coaching becomes measurable.
Yes.
And for me, especially, there are many different schools of coaching, but for me, it's a lot about achievement. Actually getting what you set out to do. Because otherwise, you could actually be sitting around for weeks and weeks and weeks just talking about, know, what your father did to you or what your mother did to you
Yes.
and why you aren't getting anywhere. So for me, it's about strategy and getting you where you want to faster. And there is a process that we go through, like a check-in, setting goals for each session, having homework, tie session from one session over to the next. And then the body of the coaching session is about me asking my client very powerful questions.
Yes.
And questions that, you know, engage them and scenarios that they never thought of before.
So essentially, do you find that those people that when you're asking them these questions, it's almost like a bit of a psychology session? So if I can go back to something you said earlier, you're saying, oh, my father did this, or my mother did this, or my boss did that. And do you find a lot of people blaming other people for the reason they're not succeeding?
Yeah, the big people do tend to blame a lot, and, you know, everybody wants to fob their current situation off on somebody else or something else. And I find the style of coaching is a bit hardcore. It's a little bit, you know what, stuff happens to everybody. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to get over it? How are you going to get where you want to go? And how is holding on to the story so much of what we experience in life is purely as a result of the story we are telling ourselves and others about ourselves.
Yes.
So if you can change your story about yourself, you can change your entire reality.
Most definitely.
And that's very, very important. But the difference between coaching and psychology essentially is psychology spends a lot of time looking at your past and why it is that you are the way you are. And that has huge value in people recovering and, you know, out the stuff that has hurt them in the past. Whereas coaching does not enter that arena.
I see.
I'm not qualified for that at all. My whole focus is from today going forwards. So mine is more of, are you going to move to the next level? How are you going to get to the next step? How does the story serve you in moving forwards?
Yes, absolutely. So it's all about laying your own foundation, going, you know what, there's nothing I can do about the past. The past is the past. If I want to go forward, I have to change my attitude. Absolutely brilliant. And I think it's a very difficult realization for people to have, but once they do have it, I mean, you must have seen the enormous change.
Yeah, I think coaches, we get a little bit addicted to that, is that aha moment. You know, when the lights literally, and I mean, it is as physical as the lights going on. Your client's eyes brighten up. Their whole spirit lifts when they have that moment, and they go,
yes.
Oh, gee, what was I thinking? You know, I mean,
yes.
how did I buy into this? How did I allow myself to think this? You know, it seems like such a no-brainer at the time, and yet sometimes it comes with enormous pain and
yes.
a long process. And it can a good coaching session, that turnaround can happen in a split second.
Yes. And I mean, I imagine that when it does come on, sometimes the light for some people, they almost want to kick themselves and go, why was I just unable
absolutely.
to think this way before?
Yeah. Then you've got to deal with their regret and their remorse.
And then you send them to the psychologist.
And they're not forgiving themselves, you know.
Then they can go see a psychologist, yes.
Process all over again, yeah. So it's really, I must say that it's something I'm extremely grateful for having found, found what my thing is, my mojo.
Yes,
is
what
I'm
gives
really,
you your
really
woman.
grateful for that. Because, so for me, if I can help other people find that, if I can encourage people, you know, and sometimes it's difficult. You're sitting with a client that is making a choice, a very, very big life decision between staying married and getting divorced.
Yes.
You know, they've been married for 30 years and 40 years, and they're sitting in front of you with this decision that they have to make.
Yes.
And, you know, for me, it's all about really assisting people in seeing, firstly, who they are if they're being their most magnificent self, and then supporting them in living up to that.
Right. Yes.
Because it's very scary. It's scary. I mean, you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, all right, this is now not business coaching, life coaching, and you say, well, if I was not married to this person, I would be so much more engaged, happy, passionate, whatever it is that you're wanting for yourself.
Right.
But, you know, it's a bit like, you know, jumping a massive crevice in a mountain.
It is.
Because how do you get there?
Yes.
once you see it. Sometimes I think people are really scared once they catch a glimpse of who they can be.
Yes. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of people, it's easy for them to be where they are. It's the difficult part is the changing. And for that realization to come, comes a great sacrifice. We always want to change in little steps. We always want the security, We want to just do the little steps. And sometimes you just have to take one big, gigantic leap. And that is where a coach, comes in hugely to support you. Yes,
I always
absolutely.
say to my clients, it's essential for me to believe that my client can do what it is they want to do.
Yes.
One of my core realizations is when I became a coach, it's about 8 years ago now, I had no background, I just didn't want to know anything about having to speak in public. It was a complete impossibility for me.
Yes.
My experience at school was atrocious. It was kind of like standing on the stage and forgetting whether I'm reciting an Afrikaans poem or an English poem, and I had my poem out of my pocket. So, 20 years later, that was the picture I had in my mind of myself. And then, through this process of coaching and through sheer determination, then becoming comfortable with speaking in front of people, and now it doesn't matter to me if I speak in front of 500 people.
Yes,
I'm nervous. And for some reason, the bigger the crowd, the more nervous. I'm not sure what that's about. But the fact that, it's still just people. And
yes.
But for me, the biggest breakthrough, and I'm so grateful for that, because to me that was achieving the impossible. That was not something that was in my reality at all. And so that has given me the belief that whatever my clients want to achieve, they can.
Yes, absolutely. And
which has been a great gift.
And when they've got an example to follow, it just makes it seem that much more attainable.
Yes.
So tell me about the future as we draw to the close of our interview. Tell me about the future of your business. Tell me about what you'd like to achieve in this year, and how people can get in contact with you if they'd like to change their careers.
Okay. This morning I read this quote, and I love this quote, and I really want to share it with everybody. And it's a quote by Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, and he said, "We say no to good ideas every day. We do this to make great ideas happen."
Brilliant.
And so for me, this year is about saying no to all these millions of ideas that keep on attacking me, and really focusing on what needs to happen. And my great passion at the moment is growing my Performance Booster business and the Performance Booster program side, because it's available to other coaches as a licensed product.
Amazing.
So they can actually purchase it, and they can do a train the trainer, and they can add it onto their own business set of skills, and they can offer it to companies. And so my first goal is to grow my business by 10 licensees, and my second goal is to support each one of those licensees and my current licensees in becoming very successful in their businesses.
Brilliant. So you're looking for like-minded people to say, hey, you know what, if this program works for you, or if it worked for you and it's something you're interested in, go and tell other people about it, get them involved as well.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's what
and cell phone numbers, websites, Twitters, Facebooks, emails, how do people get in touch with you if they would like to be part of your program?
Okay, my cell phone is 082 888 9676. And they can simply go to www.performancebooster.co.za. You can also look out, we'll be advertising in some of the local franchise magazines in the next few months.
Brilliant.
And just growing our brand and our national footprint in that way. And I'm always open to, just chatting to anybody that wants to become a coach or wants to enter this industry of a development practitioner. Because I think it's a hugely inspiring industry and a tough industry to do well in.
Yes, no, very tough. Yet when you find the right like-minded people, anything is indeed possible.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition, and I think but it's a great lifestyle.
Brilliant. So for all of those who are listening, who are interested, you know what to do. You can give Mel a call or go to www.performancebooster.co.za, was that?
Great. Thank you, Nick.
Wonderful.
It brings us a great opportunity.
It's only a pleasure. It brings us to the end of this edition of BizWise. Mel, thanks so much for chatting.
Thank you.